Our stories are brilliant. We are resilient. Our stories are brilliant. We are resilient.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Resilient with Jen Chambers. Today I have part 2 of my wonderful episode with Cathy Beederman. I think you'll find a lot of useful advice here from Cathy, some tools, and plus her experience is so valuable. I really appreciate you listening, and please remember to follow Cathy and follow her podcast as well. And if you feel inclined, share this podcast and rate and review. Thanks so much for listening.
That's the thing that's missing from so many things when people talk about chronic illness. It's all about your attitude. Just change your perspective and it's going to be okay. And like, no, that's garbage.
Yeah.
It's garbage. Yes, your perspective and your attitude definitely makes a difference, but it's not going to let me function without having to have a shot or two every day. Now, tell me, what was your job in corporate America?
I worked for Apple. I was a product manager. So I worked on apps mostly, maybe one hardware solution.
Okay. Well, that seems like also a particular corporate environment that was created to be like a giant family environment, almost like very closely. Is that true? So.
Not all orgs, but the org I was in, they really had a vibe going where we were a big family and we were one and we supported each other because I was connected to the retail organization. And I'm not sure if you've seen the way our stores are, but they have a vibe. So I was connected to that vibe. And I loved it so much. And I do miss it because you go from that to nothing.
Right.
And you're like, what happened?
Right. That would be such a shock, a culture shift in a huge way.
Yeah. I'm lucky that I learned so much that I can bring a lot of those lessons just to my life in general. But damn, I miss it.
That makes perfect sense. And I really identify with you saying a lot of people who have podcasts are trying to do it maybe not the most expensive way. You know, like it seems like on the surface, podcasting should be pretty cheap, but there's always ways that you can make it and make it better.
Like my natural tendency is to be like, I want to hire everyone. I want to make it a team. Like I want a team effort because I have learned to do things in a way where I collaborate. And I bounce my ideas off of people and we do it collectively. And now I'm just like by myself. And of course, I'm in this class where I get to talk to people, but we're all somewhat beginners. We are all trying to do it the same way, meaning that we are creating our own podcasts. No one in the class is like, I want to be a podcast producer. And someone's like, I want to be a podcast, like brand designer. If that was the case, we would have tons of synergy happening. But everyone in the class wants to have their own podcast. We can't collaborate too much. It would be great if we had like people doing different roles and we could be like, okay, now let's form some nice teams.
Oh, yeah. Well, and as a person who, because of my disability, I've never been able to really have a real job. I got my brain injury when I was 15 and I had to relearn everything. I still don't have any memory since before I was 15. So I had to relearn, walking and speaking and numbers and tying your shoes and all that stuff. And because of that, I was enough percentage disabled that they told me that I shouldn't even bother trying to have a job. So I've done a lot of things on my own because necessarily until I tried. And I work part-time now, but also I write books. So writing books naturally lends itself to being by yourself in a room all the time with your computer.
I can't wait to have you on my pod so I can ask you all sorts of questions about your story because I'm sure it is like so wonderful to hear your journey.
Oh, it's interesting, but I think that the thing that I wish that when I hear you talk about teams, that just sounds like an amazing dream. I've never really been part of one, except for like sports teams when I was bad,
Well, it's a little bit like that, but Imagine everyone's like super happy to be doing their role
Mhm.
and they're really good at it. Imagine your sport team being a professional level team, like
Right.
you're in the WNBA,
Right.
and you're like, oh, we're really good at like
Yeah.
we are the best at this.
That'd be
It
amazing.
gives you such a buzz.
Oh, I bet. I bet. Well, I guess that's not true. I owned a publishing company and I did have a team there, but it was a small team. We should try and figure that out. Maybe we'll see if we can find other people who would be interested in somebody being the brand designer, somebody who's a producer. That would be wonderful.
That I could definitely use like a mentor. And in our podcast class, we have someone teaching, but it's more like a lecture to give
Right.
our listeners an idea. It's like a big lecture hall of us,
Mhm.
virtually. And I need like to be able to go in for one-on-one support.
Right. So what you're saying is you want office hours, basically.
Want
That's what
office hours. Yes, yes, yes.
me
That's what it's called.
too.
I couldn't think of the words.
Yes. Oh, I get that. Now you said when you went to college, where did you go to school?
I went to the University of Iowa, which makes sense when I'm from Chicago. I'm in California now, and people are like, Iowa, that's nowhere near here. And I'm like, I know, but I'm from Chicago.
Oh, that's cool. And you said you're in California now?
Yes, I'm in California. I'm in the Bay Area, which is where
Oh,
Apple is based.
do you find that the climate is good for your chronic illness? Is sort of a mild heat? Does that feel good to you?
It is 100% so good for me that
Hmm.
I'm willing to stay here, even though it is too expensive for
Hmm.
me to live here.
Hmm.
So we've talked about this career multiple times. Makes sense that I was living here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now that I am not part of the Silicon Valley crew, everyone's like, okay, so are you going to move? And I was like, why would I move? But it's a very valid question because I am no longer bringing in the Silicon Valley income and I'm on the disability income instead, which is a
Hmm.
dramatic shift. So why would I stay if I'm on disability income? Because living here is so good for my physical and mental health. I go and I sit outside in the sun for
Hmm.
hours every day. Sometimes I have to bundle up, like I'm in a sweater today. I'll probably put on a little jacket if I go sit outside.
Hmm.
And it's not a humid heat, which is what I grew up with. If it's overcast outside, it's nothing like the gray overcast of Chicago, which is like a really oppressive overcast. Just feel very good here. And also, I can't leave my doctors at Stanford. I feel like I'm chained to them because my conditions, I have myalgic encephalomyelitis, which is chronic fatigue syndrome, among other diseases. And finding a doctor for that is very hard. And there happens to be a clinic at Stanford, even though there are no other clinics for it anywhere near here. Like people travel from other states. I
Right.
just happen to be like a half hour away. So I'm
Wow.
very privileged to have that short commute to my doctor.
Hmm.
So I won't be leaving anytime.
Well, it's good that you like it. That's helpful. I have often considered moving back to California just because of that, because of the weather. But then I would have to leave my doctors. My doctors are actually they're at OHSU, but then I have some at the National Institute of Health. So I don't really want to go that way. Completely too cold. I couldn't handle it. I have a hard time finding a doctor for your condition, even though they were so close.
No, it's almost unfair how easy my journey was. I spent maybe a year undiagnosed, which was horribly hard. But when I hear my journey next to a lot of my friends' journeys, my
Hmm.
Instagram friends, it is very easy in comparison. So I was undiagnosed for about a year, going to see so many doctors. And one of those doctors was a rheumatologist who gaslit me, was very rude to me, said, I don't know why you're here.
Oh.
And so I thought I didn't have anything in the rheumatological area.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if I said that right. Then I went and saw an allergist, and I have no allergies. He was like, you have nothing to do here. But he was like, I want to get you in for a second opinion with the rheumatologist that I know. And when I went to see her, she was like, I need to get you in with the MECFS clinic at Stanford. So my second rheumatology consult was a blessing because while she did not think I had anything, just like the other doctor, she was incredibly nice and she was willing to look outside her area and say, I'm pretty sure you have this condition. And she got me the referral to see a doctor that had like a pretty closed clinic at the time. And so I got in with him. It took about 6 months to finally see him. These days, like his wait list is, I was told like a year, but I see him every 6 months. I'm very lucky to see him. His clinic has expanded to include long COVID, and they have more doctors now than they used to, which is great.
Would you be comfortable explaining your condition or your conditions and kind of how they affect you?
So, myalgic encephalomyelitis, chronic fatigue syndrome. Those of us with the diagnosis, we hate the name chronic fatigue syndrome because we feel like it's a big misnomer, that it's only talking about one of the symptoms when it is a multi-system disease and it is horribly debilitating. It is like having a flu.
Mhm.
So we get so many symptoms, like fatigue is very significant, but for me, the malaise is the worst. And that's so hard to describe malaise, but I'm like, I am clammy and I get sweaty and I have trouble regulating my temperature. I could be hot on my face and really cold in my hands. I have my battery starts at maybe 40% every day and it never gets any higher. My internal battery, I mean. But think about your phone every day only being at 40%, and then it may just drop to 10% with no notice. That's me. And there's some really great educational resources from the Bateman Center that are way better than what I'm talking about right now because they specialize in it and I just live it. I also have multiple sclerosis, and everyone thinks, oh, that's so major. And the truth is that my MECFS is way worse. My MS is mild,
Mhm.
but when I tell people I'm sick, and if I'm wanting to just cut to the chase, get some credibility, because I don't know them, I don't care about developing a relationship, I say, I have MS because I need credibility and I need them to just leave me alone. Like, I, it's the truth, and they know what it is and they immediately go, oh. And it's really a shame because MECFS deserves the same response. And MECFS is way more common. But for some reason in our society, it has not received the same type of education and treatment. It has no cures, it has no FDA approved treatments. So it is at least 20 years behind MS in terms of research and cures. But long COVID is a type of MECFS, and it is hopefully helping propel the research forward. Mean, some of the long COVID research is incredibly redundant and a waste of money. And that's very frustrating to us in the know. It is getting the attention on the illness, it being a post-viral illness. My illness started with Epstein-Barr virus. I got mono in college, and things were pretty much never the same. And in this case, a lot of people are getting COVID, and things are never the same.
Chronic fatigue is kind of maligned in that it's one of those diseases that think that you should just get over. Like, oh, it's, just go take a nap. You're fine.
Yeah. And a nap doesn't recharge me. I actually don't nap. I rest, like I will zone out and I try to just close off all stimulation, but I don't sleep, not until nighttime. And when I do sleep, I can sleep about 10 to 12 hours, but I'm still not restored. I know I'm very impressive as far as how much I sleep. I'm like a teenager, but at least a teenager's getting some restorative sleep.
Yeah, that's just so not fair. Like you're
Yeah.
in bed all that time, but it doesn't help. That's so not fair. So not fair at all. And I guess I understand now because when you were saying, before, so there's a very clear demarcation of time before you were sick.
Right. So I got sick in college and I got better, but I must have had just a mild version of ME/CFS until I was in my mid 30s. And things were like harder for me, but I
Mhm,
was still able to live a really full life.
mhm,
But I was pushing myself really hard. I
mhm,
was working, probably 50 hours a week and having a full social life
mhm,
and trying to go to yoga class and live a full life, do it all.
mhm.
It was probably too much for my body and exacerbated the situation that I don't understand in my cells. The
Right.
mitochondria were not happy.
Mhm,
And then I moved into this like moderate state of ME/CFS, which has been progressing. For most people, ME/CFS is not progressive. Like when they get into a state, it seems to stay from what I've gathered from my friends, but I've been progressively getting worse each year if I look at my data and my anecdotal journal entries, stuff like that. I am worse than the year before, which stinks.
mhm.
But, I'm trying to figure out my life regardless.
So you do keep sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You do keep a journal where you talk about your symptoms?
Yes and no. I have a lot of frame of reference from certain events. Take a ton of pictures. And then I have memories associated with those pictures and notes associated with those pictures. So I have to kind of collage it all together in my mind.
Mhm,
But there is this annual fundraiser for ME/CFS that someone in the UK put together. It's called something like a tea party for ME/CFS, and it's Blue Sunday. And she put that together years ago, and it has gained momentum that now it's an international event.
mhm,
And people create their tea parties in their own backyard or in their home. And then we all do fundraising on the same day and make the donation around the same time. So it's really exciting. And 2 years ago, I had a backyard party. And then 3 years ago, I did that. 2 years ago, I did a party in my parents' backyard where they put it on. They did all the effort because I just had nothing to give. And then this past year, I didn't even do it because I was way too sick.
mhm.
So it's just like I can see the progression through stuff like that and how often I'm using my wheelchair versus using a cane. I can't write by hand anymore very well. Like I can write a sentence, but that's
Mhm.
about it. That may be more of an MS thing, like fine motor skills. But sorry about the barking. Um
Okay.
I dictate almost everything into my phone. If I'm sending you a message, I dictated it. It's a little microphone and I dictate everything. So I dictate journal entries into the notes app and I
Mhm.
just close it and I don't usually look at those again. So the pictures are really my frame of reference for looking backwards.
That's a wonderful, wonderful adaptation. Like you're using what's present and what's with you and what's easy. So many doctors I have gone to were like, well, what was your symptom on X date? Or how often this month have you had flares? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I didn't write it down.
There's also a couple great apps that I've been using, and it's about how often I use them that will help me, but one of them is called Visible. And I'm actually wearing the armband right here. This collects my heart rate data and it goes into the app. The app has a lot of automation, but you can put your symptom data in it as well. And Visible is excellent. I take a ton of pictures. And then I have memories associated with those pictures and notes associated with those pictures. So I have to kind of collage it all together in my mind. Um, but there is this annual fundraiser for ME/CFS that someone in the UK put together, and it's called something like a tea party for MECFS, and it's Blue Sunday. And she put that together years ago, and it has gained momentum that now it's an international event. And people create their tea parties in their own backyard or in their home. And then we all do fundraising on the same day and make the donation around the same time. So it's really exciting. And 2 years ago, I had a backyard party. And then 3 years ago, I did that. 2 years ago, I did a party in my parents' backyard where they put it on. They did all the effort because I just had nothing to give. And then this past year, I didn't even do it because I was way too sick. So it's just like I can see the progression through stuff like that. And how often I'm using my wheelchair versus using a cane. And I do have journal entries. I can't write by hand anymore very well. Like I can write a sentence, but that's it. That may be more of an MS thing, like fine motor skills. But sorry about the barking. I dictate almost everything into my phone. If I'm sending you a message, I dictated it. Just a little microphone and I dictate everything. So I dictate journal entries into the Notes app. And I just close it, and I don't usually look at those again. So the pictures are really my frame of reference for looking backwards.
That's a wonderful, wonderful adaptation. Like you're using what's present and what's with you and what's easy. I think that's incredible because so many doctors I have gone to were like, what was your symptom on X date? Or how often this month have you had flares? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't write.
There's also a couple great apps that I've been using, and it's about how often I use them that will help me, and I know this as like a former app designer, like they're only as good as the data in them, but one of them is called Visible, and I'm actually wearing the armband right here. This collects my heart rate data and it goes into the app. The app has a lot of automation, but you can put your symptom data in it as well. And Visible is excellent. And then the other app I love is Guava. And Guava, you can get way more granular with data in terms of symptoms and just other data. Like you can log your bowel movements in there, like all sorts of health data. And then they figure out insights and patterns. So those two combined create a great picture. But if you do use them, they both have export functionalities to create like reports for your doctors and stuff like that.
That's a great idea. Well, you're wearing the armband, so you're doing the work.
I'm wearing the armband. I collect the heart rate data. It's just the symptom data that I need to collect.
Right. And I can't think of an easier way to do that unless you could dictate it also. Use my notes function for that. But it's as simple as I could put a check mark on my calendar on the date when I'm having a flare, but I don't think about it. But I love the idea of having the data. Now, as a former app developer, it sounds like the data could be very valuable for you. Do you find that you do adjust the things that, when you do take the data and things like that? Is it useful?
For sure. And then once I have it, I'm like, ooh, I wish I could build a feature that would give me X, Y, Z. So sometimes I get pretty nerdy about it, but I often just fall into just normal person habits where I don't do it. Like last night, I'm pretty sure I didn't do my end of night capture for Visible because I was too tired. I was laying in bed. The phone was within arm's reach, but I just didn't have it in me to reach for it and like log my notes, because by the time I get in bed, my nighttime routine puts my heart into an exertion zone. So I am usually my heart rate's about 120 beats per minute just while I'm like brushing my teeth and taking my medicine, which for some people they'd be like, oh, that's so great. But for me, that's a really not good heart rate. and I'm like sweating just doing that. And by the time I get in bed, I'm like, oh, thank goodness I can rest.
What kinds of things do you do that obviously you've had to adapt the things you do for fun? What kinds of things bring you joy? I guess joy is a really hard word.
Well, we have the animals, we have the reading, I have the podcasting, which is my hobby. I don't have too much. I would love to do more. I really miss going to my yoga class from, 6 years ago.
Mhm.
Getting together with friends is totally up there.
Oh.
One of my best friends comes over and sits on my couch with me all the time because she knows I can't do much. So she's just here with me, just spending time with me, and we talk. But yeah, I can't do much. So I'm always trying to create a list of things I can do to remind myself, because otherwise I will stare at the TV or stare at Instagram. But both of those are very good to me. Like TV and Instagram is a great combo. Like I'm not in a depressed state. Like I know sometimes people are like, oh, doom scrolling. And I'm like, my Instagram algorithm is really good to me. I get tons of positive stuff. I connect with people. I get messages throughout the day and I'm chit-chatting with people. My Instagram algorithm is really good to me. Of course, yesterday was not so good, but otherwise it's really good to me.
Right. Agreed. It's interesting. And that's one of the things I had a hard time with adjusting to when I am terrible at resting and adjusting the script in my head to be like, you know what? Instagram is not necessarily a bad thing.
Totally.
It's not a bad thing. It's a rejection of the Puritan work ethics that has been pounded into me and everyone, since day one. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that those, I found it's harder for me to connect with people in real life. So it's really nice for me in real life, in person. So it's really nice for me personally to connect to people on things like Instagram and classes and things like that.
Yeah. Especially, when you don't have the option to meet in real life, it's everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's my lifeline. And yesterday I had this panicked moment where I was like, what if Instagram goes down? What if Instagram is owned by the government? What if?
Mm-hmm.
And I realized I need to work on other avenues of communication just in case. And so that is something I'm going to be working on. But I'm also going to continue to invest in Instagram and have it be my home.
Mm-hmm. I've given a lot of thought. I just joined Substack and Blue Sky, and I'm not quite sure about what to do with them because I haven't been real great about Instagram to begin with. It's hard for me to use it as anything but a business tool.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that'll be really interesting. You're right. Like in light of what's coming up, what to build in and what to choose to spend your time in. And I think as people who are home, it would be just a travesty to take that away from people.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's happening with TikTok, basically.
Right.
I mean, it is back, but does the government own it or have a say in it? Or I wouldn't want to be using TikTok right now. So.
No, I've never gotten good at it. So I guess for me, it wasn't a loss, but I understand. I completely understand.
Yeah.
For me, Instagram is easier because it combines the visual and like short form writing and so much can be said with just one frame.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Actually, I don't know if you remember this, but Facebook started out as a college tool. Like they gave it just to colleges. My school was one of the schools that got it.
No.
So I've had Facebook since maybe 2003 or 2004. Like I was one of the first social media people I remember it.
Wow.
For flirting with a guy on it. And because you could put your music taste, and he saw I like the Beatles, and he's like, "You like the Beatles? It's okay." And I was like, "That's right."
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Yeah,
But
because
that's
you put all of your info on there. It was like filling out a form.
Mhm. Oh, so I guess I didn't have it, but somewhat similar to the MySpace thing where you put all your like you
Mhm.
had music and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
it evolved quite a bit.
Yes, just fun. That's just really fun.
Being 21 years old.
Gosh, talking to you, it's so interesting. I really want to. I want to know more about the podcast and about what your plans are. You're talking about evolving it and things that you might want to do coming up with the podcast.
Yeah. So I've mentioned the word community a lot, which I know gets thrown around, but it really means so much to me. Oh, beautiful mug, by the way.
Oh,
And because it means so much, because I would be lost without the people who have come to support me and be my friends since I've gotten sick.
Mhm.
And so, in addition to the type of format I've used thus far in the podcast, I am really wanting to create a episode format. I'm not sure if I want all the episodes to be this way or to just try and introduce it gently, like once a month or something like that. But I want to ask a question and put the question out there, maybe on Instagram or in a monthly email to my subscribers, and say, here's the question. And then people can give me their answers. And ideally, the answer would be like 3 to 5 minutes long. And it could be written, it could be a voice memo that they give me. And then I put that into the episode. So I'm trying to think. I asked in an episode I asked in Instagram, what has a friend or a stranger done for you that was so unexpected and made a difference? I've had a bunch of people send me messages and tell me these really beautiful stories. The mistake I made is I didn't say I would like for it to be long, like 3 to 5 minutes. And so some of them are just like 2 sentences long. And some of them are beefy stories that are really beautiful. So I just need to work better on cultivating the answers that I bring in so that they can actually be in a podcast. The cool thing about that, I think, is I can then do a call out and say, this is from Jen Chambers, and you'll be featured in the episode. And I'll be able to feature a few people in an episode, and it becomes like more of a community effort.
Well,
And it will be about a certain topic, and people, I don't know, it's all percolating.
so it's amazing because you're right. Like you hear community all the time. Like you got to build community. And I don't know how you do that. It's in person. I've been in those communities within like a support group or a, parent teacher group or something like that, that kind of a community. But building an online community is more nebulous. So I love that idea of sharing that experience together.
Yeah.
It sounds like the way that you do your podcast as well as your Instagram things has worked out very well because you're doing it for using your own strengths. You're doing it how it works for you. And I think that's an amazing kind of abject lesson in itself, is that sometimes you just have to figure it out and sometimes it's not going to be perfect and you're going to show up as yourself and assume the best and it's going to work out great.
Yeah, I'm trying. Like I told you, I don't have like a lot of followers at all, but of the followers I have, we're really active in talking to each other. And it feels like I have a ton of followers, even though I don't. So it's really cool for me.
That's amazing. It's about who they are, not necessarily about the number. I think something that I really admire is building a community of people like us who have chronic conditions that, not everybody can understand everything about another person, but it's hard to share those experiences, and they just want to be understood, at least a little bit, for me. So I love that you're making a place for people to do that.
Thank you. And you too, you're doing the same. So this is really great.
Well, I want to tell everyone again exactly the name of your podcast, and I'm sure you can find it on all of the places. Do you have another way that listeners can contact you, or is it through your show?
Yeah. So my show is called That Chronic Thing. And on Instagram, I'm Indoor Cathy, kind of like indoor cat. And so it's just INDOORCATHY.
That's a wonderful name.
Thank you. I was trying to be cute.
I'm an indoor cat myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And I really, really appreciate you recording too.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
What, is there anything else that I didn't ask that you would like to share about?
No, I'm good. I feel like I've talked way too much. I'm like embarrassed that I've talked so much. Hoping I didn't say anything like embarrassing.
No, I really appreciate you sharing your experience, because I'm new at talking to other people about being ill, because I'm just new at admitting it about myself, even though it's been there for a long time. I appreciate your candor.
Well, I'm so happy, and I feel so special that you were sharing with me and that I got to be part of this experience.
Thank you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Sorry, I have a cat here purring really loud.
Oh, that's wonderful. I had one, but I don't know where he went. Oh, he's right behind me.
He's been very decorative, actually. What's his name?
So this one is Tucky, and I have a little girl, Scotty, somewhere around here.
Oh.
And behind the computer, I have Sadie, who is a dog, the one who keeps barking.
Oh, the other one, the geriatric.
That's my geriatric girl.
So this is new to me, which sounds ridiculous out loud. Is one of the things that's helpful for you do you play video games?
I don't. I'm not a video game person. Like I wasn't before, and I'm just not now. She said virtual games were a great way to be part of the world when you can't leave your home. But it makes me a little crazy in my head.
I never had. That's why I asked, because I never had until like the last maybe year. Well, I guess the last part of COVID. We got a Switch, and I really was surprised. In my whole life, I never played it. It never appealed to me. I didn't really care. But then there were these games. One of them was Animal Crossing, where you're an animal going around. It's so fun. It's like a little cottagecore lifetime. And then I played this other one. It's called Stardew Valley, and it's similar. You build your farm and make your friends and go fishing, and it's delightful. And it's really fun to do something. You can do it where you're online and connected to other people. We don't have that burden. But for me, it's a really good stress reliever. And it's good when I feel like I can't do anything. I can, I sit down and do that rather than I read a lot. But for me, I don't know. I really liked it. And I didn't expect to find a calm and gentle video game, because that's the only kind I would like.
Oh, when I was a kid, I played like Mario.
Right.
But I remember getting like really into it, and I was supposed to go to bed, and I couldn't go to bed because I finished level.
Right.
And it got like really into my head. So I'm kind of always been afraid of that like feeling. And it wasn't calm. There's nothing calm about it. It was like really anxiety producing. And so I think I'm kind of scared of video games. Like I don't want the anxiety.
I totally get that. But I would encourage you to try this one.
Okay, I'll consider it. When I go to someone's home who has a Switch, I'll be like, bring it up.
A lot of the time with my disease, I can't like do anything, but sometimes you want to do something. And I don't know, it's just something that I did recently.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing. I'll keep it as a possibility.
It's silly, but fun. I'm trying to embrace the silly, but fun this year.
Yes, that's a good way to frame it. I should definitely do that.
And it was low risk. Like if it didn't work out, I could just put it down. So
yeah,
fun.
I need low risk, silly, but
I get that. Oh, it's so nice to meet you in person. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Sometimes we have to start over. Sometimes we have to fight back. Sometimes it's all too much. Lost inside the black. Our stories are brilliant. We are resilient. Our stories are brilliant. We are resilient. Sometimes we need to lift the voices of those who've overcome and expose the ones that made the choices to stay and fight, not run. Our